Now on to the last one.
The last one,
So-
guys.
Nobody's played this one here, right? Like,
No,
I
was it-
have
Duck
well,
not.
has.
do we even have like the technology to play this one?
Technically,
Oh, well, yeah,
yes.
right. PlayStation, right?
We can play it on there.
Oh,
I'm not sure
sheesh.
how.
Can I play
Yours
it on
might be better
Xbox
than
yet?
mine. It's not on Xbox.
Is it on Xbox? I
It
think
should
so.
be by now.
You would think so, right? I'll take a look. See, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I don't
On
remember hearing.
your PlayStation can probably run it. My PlayStation would probably be faulty because I have, just for context, I have the original PS4. Like when it first came out, that's the version I have. Right Twix has the PS4 Slim,
Yep.
and it's not their original base Slim. I'm pretty sure it's a bit newer version of the Slim. And then I don't know what the fuck Angryduck has.
Oh yeah, it's on
Mm.
Xbox.
I want to get a PS4 Pro, and the only reason why is because it's got the three tier PS
The triple
PlayStation look.
The
decker.
triple
Yeah,
decker.
and I want to drop that on someone's foot.
Dear God, you'll take off
It-
their foot.
so-
Amputation
well,
done quick.
No. If I drop my PS4, my original on them, it's gonna slice your foot. If I drop a PS4 Pro on it, it's gonna hurt a lot, but it ain't slicing through nothing because it got the curved edges.
Oh yeah.
So, security breach. Honestly, if I think this one,
I don't know how to rate it.
it can be hard.
I do.
It could
I
be
wanna
really
play
hard
it.
to rate.
I really want to play it because I have seen the full streams of Matt
Oh, yeah.
Pat
Mhm.
playing it and Markiplier playing it, and there's a part of
We don't talk
that-
about when Markiplier plays this game. Anytime Markiplier plays it, it just breaks.
it breaks the fucking when he's trying to get Freddy running
Oh
from
my
that
gosh.
the fucking gator dude.
Monty.
Monty, yeah.
I see that video too much and it's so annoying.
Oh, but okay, so I think
My
the
favorite
one,
one, like
yeah.
when they're on the elevator. Oh, I forget, what was the conversation they're having on the elevator? It was like, all right, Freddy, now I need you to hear me out, and then he just vanishes, and he's like,
Yeah.
Freddy.
So right now, I feel because I haven't played it, but I want to. Red Twix hasn't played it, but he wants to. Angry Duck, you've kind of played it.
I've watched it many times. I have not played it for myself,
So
though, unfortunately.
none of us have played it.
But I do have a bit of perspective. So I've watched it, and a part of me is frustrated watching it. And I think the only reason why I don't like this game is because I've watched it and haven't played it. With the reason being that I don't like how it's like you have so many different tasks and stuff that you could do at a single time instead of
Yeah.
that kind of, kind of a little bit more controlled. But that's all about the player, if you want to do it step by step and how it's organized. But see, that's the thing, there even isn't even a step by step, where assisted location, as we mentioned before, was like cinematic and you knew what was going to happen. um Security breach takes a whole different step where you're in control of totally what's happening. It feels almost a little too random for my taste, but that's because I watched it. If I were to play it, I would have control over that, and this wouldn't be a problem, right?
Well,
This
I
is
mean, you
where the
kind of end up
watcher
in the same
bias.
place,
You
right?
end
Yeah.
up in the same place, definitely, yeah, but the way getting there and such, and the time taken on
So
things.
I want to say right now, if I had to rate it right now, I would possibly put it there. Nope, not there. There. At this moment.
It has to beat Pizza Simulator. I'm sorry.
No.
This
So
game has too much world, too much great character design,
that's
great play
where
design, great playability. This has to pass the Pizzeria Simulator. I'm sorry. For me, this is way too much of a quality content, quality character, and just quality lore game for it to be this low on the tier list.
so
I don't know if quality is a word that I would use to
so
describe it.
yeah,
Quality.
because of what I've seen from the game. Like I've heard a bit from it from my brother. He actually owns the game. We gotta go beat him up one day.
He's gaming.
So he owns it. I know. So from what I heard, he enjoys it a lot. But from what I've seen, you say quality gameplay, but then again, there is also a lot of downtime. It's sort of like Fallout, like Fallout 4 based, where you have to travel to a lot of locations. But where Fallout 4 has the ability of fast traveling so you can get there faster, you have to manually run from one end of the Mega Pizzaplex all the way to the other for a mission. And then you could probably have to run all the way back. And then you have to be careful of the staff bots, you have to be careful of the animatronics that can kill you. And I'm not sure what else can kill you in all
Yeah.
honesty.
It's
So
kind of,
that's
yeah, it's kind of a hassle in that sense, which
yeah,
that also is kind of, yeah, that's another thing that I didn't really care for as much, and why the streams were so long, or the gameplay was so long watching the videos, right? That of other
yeah.
people playing it. That part is where it's a hassle, and I definitely agree with that.
That feel until we actually play it, I feel it can't go to S tier. That's I know,
It
but
hurts.
because
That's how fast you think my Wi-Fi is.
you're not downloading it. You're not. Did you buy it?
Guess who had enough money in their Steam wallet?
You bought it on Steam? Oh
Oh
my
my gosh.
god. How much was
Guys,
that?
guys, guys,
Give me no.
guys, who wants to find out how good this game is?
I knew this bitch is going on S tier tonight, motherfuckers.
I need to
Hell
clear up
yeah.
some space on my hard drive at 65 gigabytes. Come
Oh
on,
my
let's get
god.
it. Let's get it.
it,
Let's
it,
do it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's
Uh,
do it.
No fucking way. You had $50 fucking dollars on your Steam. You put money on there. You can't tell me otherwise.
Let's do
You put extra.
it.
So
Listen, it's
And
for
if it
it's
it's
for
for
the
the
tier,
content.
okay? It's for
Listen,
the
and
con.
and if it doesn't work on here, then I can refund it. They
Well,
have
then
the
download
2-hour
it somewhere
so
refund thing.
else.
you think it's gonna take 2 hours to download, or less than 2 hours to download?
No, 2-hour like playtime.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't start until I actually like play it.
So if we go, all right. So how I'm basing this,
Let's
the
do it.
game design looks great. Uh,
10
I
eyes.
feel it didn't have a lot of the passion that a lot of the other games had because of how much, like, how dispersed it is. This is, and I probably will have this, have the same opinion for like Black Ops 4 and Vanguard, or Call of Duty Vanguard, because those games failed because they dispersed too much of their resources into specific things and didn't care much about some of the actual gameplay of itself and cared more about the story that they were trying to tell, which I do agree story is great, but with that in mind, if you look at some of the gameplay, it is boring. You're just running, trying to survive, or trying to not get hit by a flashlight from a security guard. And like some of it is good, some of it's bad, some of it look and like when they first if there isn't some of it isn't even a lot of there's so much cut content that could have been in that they don't. And with I know how I said with Pizzeria Simulator how I love that there's multiple endings. For this game, I feel there was too many endings.
And
Yeah.
And
I don't
there
I don't
wasn't a clear objective to why each of the endings are like what is the canonical ending? Because with Sister Location, it is there's two endings you could choose from. FNAF 3, there's two endings that could be canonical. Within Pizzeria Simulator, it's sort of you want it to be that one specific ending, the completion ending. Uh, Help Wanted, it's almost the same ending each way, either way you look. FNAF World, we don't talk about that.
Oh.
So, like that thing had too many endings. Technically, the canonical ending is the one where the glitched Psychic Friend Frenbear is like, "Hey, I need you to set this up for the real world." But so I feel FNAF Security Breach was trying to accomplish too much of
Oh
what
yeah,
it
they were
didn't
they were
need to
ambitious.
accomplish. They were too ambitious.
I don't know if I can agree with that because it is definitely okay, no, I'll agree with the fact that it is definitely draggy for quite a bit of the game, and it is a hassle trying to when you're trying to just complete the one mission thing and you end up just running around trying to dodge the flashlights and stuff, and that becomes the bigger problem than the actual main mission, right? But when it
Yeah.
comes to those main missions, I feel like they were spot on each time, whether it was the daycare attendant, whether it was running from freaking Music Man, whether it was the
Sick man.
Music Man. I felt like they hit every single time with those mini games. It was difficult. It was perfectly terrifying. I feel like the endings I feel like the endings were a good way to kind of like give that bit of diverse. I don't know how to explain it, but they were very ambitious with this game. Very ambitious, and I felt like they hit every time. If I were to change it, I'd make it a less hassle running around the megaplex and trying to dodge those things and having that be less of a problem rather than the actual content that you're there for. Definitely for sure, but I feel like I felt like they hit every time. The character design was so cool. Oh, it's so cool. And the trailer. Oh, I loved it. It was almost to the same sense of seeing the sister location trailer for the first time, you know? Just that excitement and the something new and just I really love it. I really really adore this game.
Right, Twix, you got anything you want to say? Because I had my spiel, Duck had her spiel.
I don't know where I stand on it quite yet, because like I did watch a lot of that stuff, right? But
Yeah.
when it came to like my viewing experience with it, I actually watched a lot more of like the glitches that it had when it first
I
came out.
mean, yeah.
Like,
Glitches are
um,
funny.
I don't know if y'all know Astral Spiff,
No.
but
No.
basically he's like a speedrunner for horror games and whatnot,
Oh
and
my.
also like a glitch runner or whatever.
Yeah.
And and so there's been multiple speedrun categories where they have to like play the game without ever touching Freddy, or like they play the game with like kicking, or like without jumping or without running and that kind of stuff. And
Oh
so that's
wow.
kind of that's kind of more what I've seen. So there's literally like, I forget which category it was. I think it was the no jump one, where they had to kick around a cup for like an hour in order to get enough height to get onto a box.
Oh, that's like a freaking uh hello neighbor having to stack boxes. Oh my gosh. Beautiful.
So
Matt Pat.
yeah, but that's kind of like, yeah. I know the general basis of like where you got to go and what you got to do and stuff. I
Yeah.
kind of saw that, right? And I've seen like the stuff, right? But like, as like a whole, I don't know like what kind of where I would put it. And it's hard for me because in my mind it's like I don't really want to compare it to the other FNAF games because it's not like the other FNAF games.
Yeah, you really can't.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I would say
it's the same thing for FNAF World, right?
the original. Yeah, that's yeah. The original trailer gave so much hype to it, but it sort of it's double-edged itself to the sense where it put too much hype because like off of Help Wanted, we wanted to know the ending. We wanted to know what happens with Glitch Trap, and what we got that
Oh,
happens with Glitch Trap. Hello?
no, I'm off tomorrow. It's okay.
Okay. From what we got with Glitch Trap was something that nobody really expected to happen at all, with
Yeah.
FNAF Pizzeria Simulator complex being built under the Pizzaplex, that really doesn't make much sense to. I mean, it does in the world of FNAF. It kind of makes a bit of sense because if you think the within the books original book trilogy, a FNAF pizzeria was closed up within a mall, like walled around within the mall, and then the mall
Yeah.
was built off of that. Which it kind of makes sense if you follow that, but why the only if you have to look a lot into the lore to understand why it could possibly be built over top of that,
But
but
anyways,
it doesn't make sense for. I think it's also with the point of the theories that came out from just the trailer alone, because I even myself was coming up with things that I was thinking,
mhm,
and what we saw within the trailer and what the leaks we've gotten
mhm,
before it released sort of hyped up something that we hoped would happen, but ultimately never properly happened. And even the books lead like the Fazbear Frights 1 through 11, I think it is, or 12. They were leaning heavily into sort of the Afton remnant being um like at in the end gonna be built into like a giant trash monster of robotic animatronics of remnant that we would fight within a Freddy, like we would fight in the Freddy suit, which
mhm.
like people were hoping for, and then also how at the end it would show that it wasn't just it wasn't really Afton anymore. Afton's spirit was very weak and almost dead. It was instead baby fit like trying to live up to what her father wanted. Like, and
Yeah.
that's those theories and the like what we saw within the books, like were pushing us towards, and also like with the trailers, were pushing us towards that sort of a finale and that sort of like what kind of game we'd have. And with the leaks, like saying we'd be within a garbage land, which technically we were, but only for like a short period.
Yeah.
Which
It
so
depends on how much you play and explore that area, and
yeah,
that's all based on the
well,
player.
there's not much to explore there. You do your Chica thing and then you can just leave. In all, if I'm not mistaken, you don't really
Yeah.
need to go back. And that's where a lot. That's why I feel it can't be S tier unless I play it. Because from
Mm.
what the hype was built up around of it, and the double-edged sword that was made, sort of both drove, and especially with the delays, it drove it to be such a great game, but it also, with the delays and what we were expecting, killed it off to the point, like, because, yeah, I mean, sure, there's still some theories being talked about it, but a lot of what we saw in Security Breach, a lot of people were like, well, that doesn't really, why is this here? Why should we care about this? And it's sort of, it, I can see where it's good for the lore and good for, it looks like great gameplay, or like
Yeah.
game I don't know how to describe it. Not game fuck.
Well,
Mechanics, that's it.
yeah.
It
You're talking.
just yeah,
Sorry. Continue.
it just didn't really fulfill its what it was trying to be. It was too ambitious.
See, I, f- I really strongly feel like the hype lived up to it. Of course, there are all the theories and such, and the lore and all that, and that was something that you kept bringing up a lot too.
Yeah.
The lore part of it, right? And I gotta admit, previously when I first started watching it, I didn't get it. I will agree with that because it was like, damn, so we got another bunny in the mix, boys. Let's go, you know. And just trying to understand that, wrap my head around all those things. But I I still think it wasn't too ambitious. I think I think it was no, it was ambitious, but I think they hit it just right. My only really truly big problem with this game is the dragginess of running around and doing the things. But other than that, I think they hit with the terrifying factor so well with like the kind of jump scares with the security bots. I really liked how they kind of kept the whole characters and such, the diversity of it down. Like how again in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, how they had so many new characters. Whereas Security Breach, you got the good old four with uh Roxanne, Monty, Chica, and then Freddy. And then there's a few kind of side characters there with Vanny and Vanessa. But it's still keeping it very kind of low, lower with that. Oh, and the daycare attendants and such. But I feel like the daycare attendant and Music Man and such like that kind of have the lower of character upbringing since they're only there for like certain parts and such. Um, but oh, another thing about the character is I I love how they played Glamrock Freddy's character as this kind of, friend and someone able to help you along the way. And when they're not running the other way when you're running away from Monty, but
Good job, super shit.
rip, yeah, rip to Markiplier, but we're different. But and that we never had that, or to what I believe, or in the game, we didn't have that in any of the game, and it created this connection. So when the endings happened, they had an actual effect, like storytelling wise. And I I just love it. I love it so much. And I still feel like there's a lot of theories that can go around with this story about Gregory and the whole Vanny and Vanessa. I feel like there's still a lot to unpack. I feel like there are certain parts of the game that are a bit underdeveloped, or that could have been tweaked on and such, but I could go on a whole different spiel about that. But I feel
Yeah,
like they just, with each little mini game that they had with the daycare attendant and with Monty and upgrading Freddy, I feel like there's just so much content, and they did such a great job showing the character design and designing the world, the structure of having, you're a kid again, that vulnerableness, running around and having Freddy as an extra support and such to run around in. I just, yeah, I really really like this game. Of course, like, I understand where you're coming from there, Venom, but yeah.
and I know this is ooh, ah, one sec.
Sorry, it's some little. I noticed something while she was talking, so
Yeah.
I had to. I didn't want I
No
didn't want to
worries.
interrupt you with like while you're speaking, so I just did that in the side.
Yeah,
So
no
Uh,
worries.
yeah. No, all right, all right.
If you kind of see where I'm coming through, I feel like if we're able to play it, then that would change a lot of things for you guys.
oh yeah, definitely.
But I strongly
Uh,
feel it should be at least in the S tier, or if not in the S tier, I'd be happy putting it in front of FNAF 3, but that's a long shot. So,
So you, Raytex, you want to say something or no?
I was gonna say something. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me. So it's intriguing how you can
Oh,
look at all that it's accomplished, and I think it's sort of a blindness that you are also, because of how much you love the aesthetic and how much you love that it did, it's blinding your judgment on all of its faults.
no,
ah,
Like,
you're blind.
no, I'm not,
No, I'm just kidding.
because, like, I will definitely say, from most of these games are like almost perfect on how they're built, but I can still find problems with games that I like Pizzeria Simulator, the Blacklist ending. If you fuck up, you have to be almost god tier for that one, if I'm not mistaken. No, not Blacklist. Is it? It's the one where you buy nothing. You just sail through the week and do nothing. That one you have to be very. That's one I haven't gotten, and you have to be able. And and the reason I haven't gotten it is because it's a pain in the ass to do. And I know that exists. I see that, but because of how much it's sort of like how good the rest, like that's one tiny aspect of the game that in all honesty, you never would really notice because normally the first thing you do while in the game is you want to buy something. So already you like wipe that thing from existence. So it doesn't happen a lot. But within security breach, you put say there is sluggishness, but it's within a lot of the game that you have to go through. And then also with some of its faults that I don't remember what if we said any, where you have to go through some of those faults in order to like accept it as it is. Or like you have to go through it. It's not something that's just like non-existent that you wouldn't notice unless you went down that specific route of looking for it or trying to do that. It's something that could come up while you're just playing. Like it's one of the effects that could happen while you're playing. Like for example, what part is that? Part of the Monty Gator Golf not Monty Gator Golf. Yeah, Monty Gator Golf. A part of trying to get Monty's claws, you have to move a maze around. And if you don't know what you're doing, you could be stuck on that
Yeah.
for literally 2 hours on that
Yeah.
alone. Where, as, and I will say, probably if I did play it, I would have a different experience. I would probably have different opinions easily.
Yeah.
But then again, you have to look at something in its entirety. Like FNAF 3, I will say one of my favorite games of all time, but I will say I hate Nightmare Aggressive Mode. I'm not saying it's the worst thing in existence. I'm not saying it's the best thing in existence. It's something where I deal with it to go through, like, because it's something where you don't need it. It just gives you one more star. If you're playing on a console and there's achievements, you kind of want to get it, but
Yeah.
you don't need to do it. It's something you can do for if you want to complete it. Sister location or not sister location. Where sister location feels I would put it lower normally because you need to complete Ennard in order to get the custom night, which kind of sucks because the custom night is added on after the fact. Help Wanted is higher up because the DLC that it has, you can get that instantly off the hop. You don't even need to play any of the regular mini games. You can just buy the DLC as well and then just go start on the DLC. Don't have to worry about any of that. FNAF World, we don't talk about that. Especially, we don't talk about that. So,
Yeah.
I would consider putting it above FNAF 3, but I will not move it to S tier. I feel it does not deserve S tier until we have at least played it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's very fair. Um, yeah, no, with the maze thing, 100% agree. I was watching Markiplier do that. And I'm like, I don't know how the son of a bitch knows what he's doing, but I. um,
He didn't. That's the thing
yeah.
about it. Nobody knew what they were doing properly. I know I watched GT Live. That's the ones I watch. And
Yeah.
the screen where you would normally see things, it wasn't working for him, I don't think. So he didn't know what he was doing. He was just having to look at his camera instead, which was a completely different angle than when he needed
Yeah.
to look at. So it was a lot harder for him. A lot harder for
Yeah.
MatPat. So I will put it in front of maybe. There we go. In front of FNAF 3. I will not, however, put it to S tier until we've at least played it, or at least
Okay.
one of us has played it, and like they have feedback on it.
Okay, that's very
Yeah.
fair.
Ah.
Now, looking at this chart, I will say, honestly, FNAF 4 I kind of want to put there.
Yeah. Aw,
Yeah.
I
What
like
do you guys think?
I oh I really appreciate FNAF 4. I think it was pretty good in the spot I had, if not higher, simply for the terror factor of it. I really appreciate the whole. I don't know. I said this in the previous video of how
Yeah.
you kind of stare into the void and you have to listen to shit. You know,
It's above
I
UCN.
I think
it
I need
is
a
it is.
right now our recording is at an hour and almost and 11 minutes. I think I'm gonna have to split this up to once we start talking about security breach. Honestly, because that's taking at least
Well,
30
because
minutes
we
of our
have to
time.
put playing the entire game in there as well.
Yeah, that's. Oh my God, no, no. So
I like how you're so eager on that answer, and then you're
I
like, "Wait
kind
a
of want.
minute."
All right, I kind of want to put FNAF 2 in front of FNAF World. How do you feel about
How
that?
you feel about that right
Ah,
now?
you want to play FNAF World? Yes, sir. We should all play FNAF World together.
I think.
That'd be a good video. Good fun. Okay, going down the tier list, Help Wanted definitely deserves. It definitely is where it needs to be. No touchy. What do you guys think?
I agree. It was a perfect blend of looking to the past, like cherishing what we had, and then also looking forward. It was a strong game. There were a little bit of bugs that were fixed almost instantly off of launch, I believe. Besides
Yeah.
the Funtime Freddy, that one just stayed. Uh, if we're talking about flat mode, that shit is going down to D tier because
Yeah.
some of those mini games are literally impossible to play in flat mode.
Yep.
I wouldn't say impossible.
It took me about 5 hours to beat the Build a Mangle.
Oh,
To
okay.
build a mangle.
I can't speak about the Halloween mini games, but all of the main game mini games are possible in flat mode.
Plush baby.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Right?
All right.
It is definitely
All
possible.
right, let's move on. Let's move past that.
FNAF 1.
FNAF 1.
Well, I beat it on my Switch.
I don't care. I
I know
don't
I know
care.
you don't care, but
I
I
don't
kind of do. I kind of do.
care. FNAF 1, how do we feel about that?
I. Hmm. It's
See, FNAF 1 has like a special place in my heart, right? But
Yeah, that's
like
the
Yeah.
after
thing.
we've looked at like all of these other games, FNAF 1 is kind of like it's
Boring.
good, and it's
It's
like
good
yeah,
but boring.
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
I
bare bones. Like you got to start somewhere, right? But like
yeah. I kinda
in
want to put it.
comparison,
I'd say like either like the top of B or the back of A.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I would
If
almost put it in front of Ultimate Custom Night.
I'd be okay with that. Right in between number 4 and UCN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about UCN being the B tier?
Fine by me.
Right,
Pretty good if
Twix?
you don't say.
yeah, I think it should be there.
Alright,
D-
Pizzeria Simulator, I still feel it deserves S tier for what it, like, how much it did, how much it's, like, how it, like, was almost a perfect FNAF game. Except for some of those little details that are just like, why do you exist? But are just, like, are possible, it's just that they're stupid sometimes. Like, oh my gosh, the fruit maze? That shit? You have to get the right spawn. I shit you not. A lot of RNG. I hate RNG. Alright, we're gonna move past that. Security breach, I feel comfortable with it there.
Yep.
Until we play it, I would consider S tier when we play it, see where it goes then. FNAF 3,
I
kind
don't
of good
think we
game.
can touch FNAF 3
Kind of a
actually.
kind of a great game. So far, I'd say the rest I feel pretty confident in leaving it where it is.
I'd say yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty good too. Although my heart would love to have number 4 up in the S tier, it's just I understand.
Honestly, I
Just
feel FNAF 4 and FNAF 1 I could switch around easily. Those could be swapped
nah,
around like either or
nah.
for me.
FNAF, yeah. FNAF 1 is the good place in the heart, but where it
So what I
lacks
mean
is
by
where
like that, I
FNAF
mean
4
it's
picks
like they're
up.
in the same spot. That's what I mean. It's not like they could FNAF 4 needs to be behind. I say they're in like the same spot of area.
Mm,
That's
I
how
would
I
even
feel.
say ah I no, I was gonna say that maybe even it could go in front of Sister Location, but Sister Location has earned its right to be in the spot it is now. I
Has
just
it?
I
Has it really? It's really boring and repetitive. If you like, it's like what? Well, I mean, you could say it's like watching a movie, but people love to watch movies, and yeah,
yeah, that's what we said in the first video. It's very cinematic, but
you're
yeah,
right. It
I
deserves
still
to go to
feel
50.
it holds a lot. It still holds its own. That's what I think.
I
Right,
feel
Twix?
yeah, I feel comfortable with all these spots.
Yeah. Do we have our list until we possibly play Security Breach?
Yeah, I will also like it'd be good if we also show. Personally, if this was mine, I would change a lot of, like obviously a lot of it.
Same.
Yeah, obviously. I put FNAF 3 right in front of Security Breach, or not Security Breach, Help Wanted, easily.
Ooh.
Ah,
We should make our own lists and then like compare and contrast with our together one
Wait,
and then
wait,
our
wait,
own.
wait. Yeah, you know what? You wanna know what we should do? We should like after we're done this, right? We should go through and just like play every single one of these,
Oh
and
dear
then
God.
and then we meet
no,
back up for the definitive list.
no.
We have to do it. We have to do it. We have to go through and complete. Well, not complete, but like play every single one of these. We
I
gotta
have
do it.
played all but 2 of these games.
Well, no, but like we have to do it like where it's like fresh on our mind. It's like we just did it yesterday, and we're like, dang, I remember doing that just yesterday.
All right.
I'm
Well, I
making my
think.
list right now.
Oh my gosh. I think
Hold on.
that is the end of this. What do you mean? Hold on. What do you mean? Hold on. Well, since there's such dead space,
Made
let's
my
talk about.
list.
Oh my gosh.
Speed.
Oh yeah.
Eh,
Uh
I think what
hmm.
we should do is post a fourth part, quote unquote fourth part, because I think a security breach is going to get its own video entirely.
Fourth part
A
is we're on part 2 of this video right now. Do you mean third?
No, so I'm gonna split off security breach from the rest of this. The fourth part will show we have our own list, and then we go through each of it. I mean, I could spin this off where we have like 3 other videos from that alone, but where we put each game in our own hearts compared to the rest of them, and
Yeah.
then we go through each list.
Okay.
But not tonight. I'm done.
Where Oh yeah, no, of course. But where's
Anyway,
part
guys.
3? Where'd part
I
3
said
go?
I said it's gonna be chunked off. I'm gonna cut off Security Breach and give it its own video.
Hit it with a
Ah.
schlunk.
Help Wanted and Security Breach honestly could probably get their own video because we talked so much about Help Wanted specific or Security Breach so specifically. Anyway, guys,
Anyways.
thank you so much for watching. If you stayed through all of this, an hour and 20 minutes, or depending if I cut it off or not. we hope to see you all in the next videos.
When we've played all the
Stay
FNAF
classy,
games.
y'all. Shut the hell. Stay classy, y'all.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.